It's just another faction to get in the good graces of. I'm sure they'll love me, like, immediately. He looks like he's ready for some sort of crazy disco. You glowy, glowy man.
Halt! Not a step further. No one is allowed into the city without an entry permit.
You want to rush him, or find another way in?
Try either thing and our mechs will blow you apart. But you know, it's your intestines you're risking, so try what you will.
Have there been any Alb attacks here recently?
With Zakor on our northern border, there are always Alb troops coming through on their way somewhere, but they don't seem to be attacking us here for the moment.
But have you heard anything about Alexiters traveling through Abessa?
Yeah, I have now that you mention it. Alexiter Calyx was reported to have headed north with a few combat units and a troop of mechs.
Alexiter Calyx? So he's been promoted. Tell me, how long ago did Alexiter Calyx head north?
A few days ago. They must be back at the Ice Palace in Zakor by now. What's with the interest in Alexiters? You go chasing them, you'll just find trouble. And I don't want them tracing that trouble back here.
I'm asking so I can avoid them.
Don't treat me like a rookie. You sound like someone who wants a showdown. So let me give you a warning. That approach is gonna get you and anyone close to you killed.
Where can I get an entry ID?
You can't. We're full. We're short of supplies. So the decision has come down to close the gates. The full allocation of entry IDs has been given out, and we have instructions not to let anyone else in. Those outlaws have us stretched enough as it is. I'm not saying you're working with them, but until law and order is reestablished, we can't risk any more undesirables joining up with them. You'll have to wait till all this is over and done with. Say, there's a bunch of others who can't get in who've taken up residence in some houses near here. Why don't you join up with them?
So you cannot get the ability to... No.
Not a step further. No one is allowed into the city without an entry permit.
Just trying to see if I could loot that one box over there, if it would count. But you can't even get close to it. Alright. You know getting into Kalan, as everyone keeps talking about. Unless you can get them to love you. Well, alrighty then. What if I use the back door? Nobody guards the back door, right? Also, what's up with my character just being all, like, suspicious? Like, ooh, Alexator, is it? He got promoted. I'm revealing that I have all this weird insider information that makes me super suspicious. He couldn't just, like, mumble that to himself later or something? Like a normal person?
Halt! Nobody is allowed into the city without an ID.
What's happening in the city?
Well, the domed city is a refuge for all. Outlaws, berserker, clerics, anyone who wants to be somewhere other than their homeland. Being away from home, you'd think they'd care less about what faction they were from, but for some reason some of them have got even more fanatical. That makes keeping order difficult sometimes. The outlaws are the worst. They don't understand rules or sharing, or in some cases, that people have a right to stay alive.
You don't seem to like outlaws.
All people are welcome here. The domed city is a refuge for all. But that means all, not just outlaws. There's a half-dozen outlaws hanging around outside the city at the old farm now. They just want to get in to cause trouble. I mean, we got everyone settled down and living together, and those outlaws, I just wish they'd disappear.
You want the outlaws in the farm to die?
Whoa, that's not what I said. I just want them to stop causing trouble for good.
About the outlaws in the farm.
You mean the threat on our doorstep? The canker in our midst? They who should disappear?
Where are these outlaws?
They've gathered east of here at an old farm, not far from the city walls. You can't miss them.
How do I get an ID?
You'll have to go to Gregor at the other gate. He's the only one authorized to issue new IDs. We aren't letting a lot of people in at the moment. We're having... well, talk to Gregor. I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say.
It's conceivable that the outlaws at the farm might even be a way to get an ID. Someone's been sleeping right here? Conspicuous. I'd probably get in trouble for being up here. Hop over the fence and everyone murders you, I'm sure. Could visit them. I think the guy said that it was worth taking a look first to see if I could get in. And that he might be able to find a way for me to get in otherwise. But I should ask first. Same broken staircase, same blood spot. But this time, none of the bones. Somehow that's even more suspicious. I'm surprised they don't just, like, close that gate or something. It's so out of the way that people would only get there by passing this one first anyway. But they have a dude that's just stationed there every day. Interesting plants around here. We're continuing the trend of all forms of fire are just always lit at all times. Somehow.
I heard he was robbed.
I want to get into the city. Can you get me in?
Have you tried to get in yet?
Yes, I went to the gate.
And? You got turned away, right?
I wouldn't be here otherwise.
Okay. I can offer you a way to get into the city, but it's risky because you might not get out again. At least not if they confiscate your ID.
Why won't I be able to get out?
All right. I just hope things don't go the same way they did with Cooper. The clerics have shut the city up tight. They won't let anyone who doesn't have a valid ID through the gate. Not in, not out.
Why would the clerics stop people leaving the city?
They're stopping them meeting up with us. That's what I heard. Paranoid assholes. Anyway, we're off the point. You want in, right? And I can give you a counterfeit ID that will get you in. But, once you're inside there, I need you to go and take an ID card to Cooper. That way he can come back out again. Like I say, I can get you in, but I also need you to help me out. You good with that? Does that sound like a deal?
Deal. Give me the ID, and I'll meet Cooper.
Good. Right. That's the plan. Long term. You see, Wick has all the blank IDs. So before I can get you an ID, I need you to get me Wick.
Where is Wick?
Well, that there is a good question. You see, he's been gone for a while. He'd gone over to the ruins to see if there was anything worth scavenging there, and hasn't come back. You should look for him over to the northwest if you're in a hurry to get into the city. Just look through all the houses. He should still be there, scavenging.
A new ID.
Can't believe that.
It's a lot of steps built into this one, but okay. I'm not really worried about them stopping me from getting out. At all, really. Just heading up north? Yep. Worst case scenario, they confiscate my ID and I just jump over the wall. It's not exactly enclosed. And we're apparently the two guys on this entire area that have jetpacks. I imagine all of my companions get jetpacks, which is peculiar because nobody else seems to have one. Ooh. What do we have here? Grab a shovel, grab the whole thing instead of little pieces of it. Look how much there is. There's so much ELEX here. Why would there be a why would some of the ELEX be bottled out of nowhere? That's just strange. Oh. Kinda thought there'd be, like, people here or something, but okay. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of them. Ow. Ow. There's so many. They're not even really dangerous, it's just there's a goddamn army of them. One more down. They are grouped up. This is a pretty good advertisement for the concept of having a companion following you around. Despite the glowing, the critters are weirdly non-hostile or non-dangerous. Like they're even softer to kill than the rats, which feels odd. Get that meat. We can cook that up. Man, there's a lot of them. Alright, let's pop that grenade somewhere else. It's kind of taking up one of my slots. Let's see. I could put it... like... here? Yeah. What? What? Oh, right. You don't press the button that you're keying until you highlight it and press A on it. I was like hitting A and it was going to X and I'm like, what's going on? Why are you doing this to me? A lot of wine. There's fried meat. Oops. Not what you should do. Crap, crap. I'm getting all mixed up on these controls. That's the tougher one. There we go. Can't use Gaia's Wrath till I get 1 billion more Constitution, which seems incredibly unlikely. Alright. Meat's ready. And I just got a bunch more raw meat I can probably cook around here. Though I question who's maintaining the fires. Oh, dead people. How pleasant. Ooh. Huh.
Too easy.
It was like one of those tests where all the answers are C for a while, and you're like, well, the next one can't be C, right? But no. It really was all of them in a row. For a while, at least. Dead Hermit, Dead Marauder. How long have they been dead? All the candles are lit, the radio's on. I can't use that as a fireplace, can I? I just want to cook. Okay, that's dead wick. Got the cards though, so there's that. And there was a healing potion inside of her chest cavity, so that was neat. Kind of a compromised death position. What killed them? Giant rats? Just a whole bunch of them? Instructions to make small ELEX. Ah, I think I already had that one. I want the bigger ones. Get those level up potions made or something. Oh wait, no, I don't think I had that one yet. The small ELEX? Because that means you can make an ELEX potion from scratch, which means you could start the process of being able to craft basically everything else, right? These are gemstones that affect your stats. But is anything I'm wearing socketed at all? Not the shield. Not the axe. Not the pants. Not my shirt that has stat requirements, which is funny. Strong energy potion. Small ELEX potion. Chemistry, you need liquor and natural ELEX. I can do that. In fact, I have more natural ELEX than liquor, although I'd still cap out at 7 of them. Just need to get the ability to get chemistry. That gives you 100 experience. Not in a hurry to get those ones, because they're pretty easy to get. I kind of regret all the ones I've used so far, because they're reasonably low reward. The question is, now that if I can make small ELEX potions, then can I figure out how to make larger ELEX potions? Because then I could start crafting skill points, essentially, which is fantastic. I'm ripping coins off of people's graves. Ob the Slob, Torben Baben, Dable. Why is Dable's grave dug up? Is it the rats? Hopefully it's not the rats, and hopefully it was the rats, not like a person who was a rat. I can't go over this fence, can I? I can. Oh. There might not be anything over here, but I can. I kind of took that to be like a boundary of the world or something. I feel like the one at the beginning wasn't it? Oh, right, because I didn't have my jetpack yet. So at that point, it really was a boundary. The question is there a single thing out here, or is this completely pointless? Ooh, that would have hurt. That's gonna hurt. He's so cool with just falling impossible heights and being like, yeah, I'm good with it. It's fine. That's not gonna hurt. Oh, God. Okay. Nope. 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 Okay. Okay, that went bad really fast. That was not good. That's a bad situation to be in, that entering a radiation zone while happening to be in a free fall so you can't do anything to escape it.
Stop being an asshole. There must have been a lot of civilians living here once.
Just moderately terrifying. That's fine. These nice people have beds that they let me use, so I'll just do that again.
I wonder what this place was.
That'll let me sleep it off. Is that a note up there? A recipe.
All right? Not like that.
I am going, all right?
Wick is dead, but I found the ID cards on his body.
Dead? Shit. I told him whatever was there wasn't worth the risk. But Wick would do anything if it would mean him getting 2 shards he could tap together. Ah, well, give me the blank ID card. I'll work it up for you now. So, done. 1 fake ID ready to go.
Give me the counterfeit ID.
Okay, wait a second. Your image has to be added there first. So, done. Here's your ID. And this is the ID for Cooper. Take it to him. But make sure the clerics don't see it, see him, or see you handing this over. And do it as soon as you get in there. He's been at risk too long as it is. We don't need him being held, or worse, turned into a vegetable by the suggesters.
The suggesters.
It's as simple as that.
That's something we're hearing about for the first time. Also, I'm wearing the wrong necklace, aren't I? Damn it.
Sure? I mean, yeah, what the fuck?
Keep forgetting to switch back to the experience necklace. That's really frustrating. So there's some kind of type of creature unit position dude thing in here called the suggesters that can apparently affect your mind. Great. Can't wait to meet them. Sure we'll get along great.
Halt! Not a step further. No one is allowed into the city without an entry permit.
I heard you hold people prisoner if they can't prove their identities.
Of course. Need a valid ID to enter or to leave. It's important we keep the right balance here, and that we can hold people accountable. We've worked hard to keep things running here. We can't start letting people flood in, or the troublemakers will take over. Anyone who tries to get around with ID is given straight to the suggesters to be taken care of.
So if somebody wants in, don't they supposedly need the IDs to manage resources? Like they can't let too many people in. But then if somebody tries to get in without a proper ID, they get imprisoned, which means that they are still in your charge and you're probably feeding them or something, defeating the purpose of trying to keep them out.
What's a suggester?
Our suggesters are the reason things remain peaceful in the city. If someone causes trouble, then they're either thrown out, see a suggester for reorientation, or both. But don't worry, it's a positive experience that will leave you happy about life. Even so, I recommend avoiding it.
Don't worry, it's fine, but avoid it. What? I can just straight up tell them that the IDs are counterfeit, and that might even be a way to get in, but it betrays those people. I don't know if I want to side with these guys, because they kind of seem incredibly 1984-y.
I have an entry ID. Let me through.
Really? I thought I knew all the ones that had been issued. And you were here asking about getting ID before. So tell me where you got this one.
I found it.
It's mine. I was issued one after all. Must have misplaced it.
All right. I'll believe you this once. I've got to be wary. That desert gang of outlaws is always trying to find ways to get by me. Oh, and there are some rules I need to tell you before you enter. First, stay away from the generators. Nobody but the technicians is allowed access to them. That sort of security is why we need to keep an eye on IDs. So if you meet someone who's in the city illegally, report them to us immediately, and Eric will take care of them. We can only keep peace in the city if we all work together, and we keep the city secure. That's what was laid down by the Great Council of Magalan. And the Great Council gave the clerics the responsibility for guaranteeing the city's independence. That means everyone is welcome here until they cause trouble. So keep the peace while you're in there. Our suggesters are busy enough without you adding to their workload. And that's it. You may pass.
I love that two of the options were it's my brother's and I found it, which both display a fundamental misunderstanding as to what IDs are.
You mentioned the Council of Magalan.
The Great Council, yes. You'll have to speak to Judicator Alois if you want to know more about that. I'm not that well informed on my history.
Who's Alois?
Alois is the Judicator in charge of the city. You'll find him in the castle. He likes to stay close to the generators.
What's happening in the city?
Nothing right now, but it's simmering. You can feel it. There was something building even before we let those Alp separatists in here. They just lit the touch paper. But hey, we're supposed to be a sanctuary, so someone decided to open the gates and let the separatists in.
How many separatists are there in the city?
Too many. Once an alb, always an alb. They still hit ELEX. It's just a matter of time before they turn back. I don't know what they want in the city. I'd heard a bunch of them had set up a base in the west of Abessa, so they could have gone there. If we weren't so busy here, we'd have tracked them down and cleared them out of Abessa. Last thing we need is Zakor thinking we're harboring rebels.
Where can I find Eric?
Just go straight down the path into the inner city. You should find him there.
Kind of looks like a rejected, like, Titanfall character. More experience? Holy crap. Oh, for entering the area. So this place also has alb in it to top things off. Those are some absolutely massive pumpkins. And this looks like an absolutely massive town. Oh my goodness, how am I gonna keep this place straight? Are you in? That's the alb. Yeah, there's just alb wandering around with their hilarious looking, like, World of Warcraft glowy swords. And there's Wolverine.
Tell me about the city.
Right, well, where to start? First off, a lot of people are avoiding the north of the city. This place always has something going on, but right now, there's really something brewing. That means the north isn't exactly welcoming unless you're a thug. The western section's safer. You're okay there as long as you don't break the law or look funny or say something the clerics don't like. The southern part, well, that is really quiet. Nothing really happens there, but wherever you are, you should know the clerics are watching. Alois, he runs this place and he hates thieves and beggars and trouble causers and pretty much anyone. He thinks he's God's messenger or something, and that means he's got one big old stick up his ass. So don't piss him off. If you ignore anything else, don't ignore that advice. Don't piss off the clerics. There now, you are fully informed.
Well, that was a nice first person to meet in town. Very helpful. Don't piss off the clerics. The end. Alright, we got like a this place looks like a shanty town. Ooh. Oh, I already knew that recipe. The bloody burger. Taking anything here is forbidden. And none of it really looks valuable enough to risk taking. No loot boxes around here. There's a nice chair to sit in, I guess. Cooper.
What do you want? Do you back the clerics here, or do you want them gone?
You get right to the point, don't you?
And are you gonna give me an answer?
I'm against the clerics.
Right, good. I can see you talk sense. They say they're here to keep things safe, to keep order. But it's obvious they want to drop their neutrality and extend Ignadon's control into Abessa. Not allowing anyone in or out of the city, that's just the start of it. You think that's because the Alps are getting closer? Or that those followers of Kalan really want a backdoor for invasion?
Oh, I still don't have 5 survival? I thought I actually made it that far.
The Albs are more of a threat than the clerics.
Executions, converters, torture. Believe me, I know all about that shit. But those guys are only interested in ELEX, and as far as I know, there isn't any more here in the city than there is elsewhere. So why should they show any interest in attacking a fortified position to get it, instead of sweeping up all there is out there?
The Albs want all the ELEX. All of it, no matter where it is.
We won't get in their way. We don't want ELEX. They have to see that. They'd be attacking us for nothing. No, it's the clerics.
Why don't you do something to stop the clerics?
What's that got to do with you? You expect me to trust you just like that?
Hunter sent me.
Why didn't he come himself?
He was afraid he wouldn't be let out of the city again if he was caught.
You mean he was afraid the same thing would happen to him that happened to me? Fuck it. At least the suggesters haven't found me yet. Did Hunter give you something for me?
Yes, I have something for you.
Thanks. I was starting to think that I would never leave this stinking cleric-infested dome. I don't know if Hunter promised you a reward, but here's something for me in any case. You've helped a good cause. Trust me.
That escalated quickly. Giant bold text, "You took a side in a Bessus conflict." I'm like, holy shit, okay. That's not... Like in Mass Effect, when you get to, oh my god, Novaria, and you, like, help one dude smuggle a thing once, that's not exactly, like, taking a side necessarily. Although they're... It's just weird to have something that final show up when so little has happened so far. The flyer? I wonder if I took, like, a final decision, like I can't get out of it now or something. I've been here for, like, a couple minutes. The way food is given is now different-er. A cleric order says every resident of Abesa can get free food from Jorg starting immediately. Signa clerics. Good spelling. You did all the words right. Even the more believable when you do it that way. It's like it's written by human. And definitely not entirely stupid. Name? Nope. That person's just got garbage for a bed. Oh, what the heck? You stepped like on his bed and it made a ew. Keeps making squishy noises. What is making those noises? There's a lot to look at around here. Vivian. You got your own clean bot, Vivian.
What is it you want?
Who are you?
You first. Come on. Who are you? There is something that is familiar about you, but I can't quite place it. No matter, I suppose. All people are welcome in Abessa, as long as they are prepared to forget their past. Even Albs are allowed in here. I think Albs would be perfect people if they weren't so emotionless. But then, that is why they are the only faction I have never belonged to.
I think Alps would be perfect people if they weren't so emotionless, she says in a completely emotional manner.
What do you mean? You mean you want to become an Alb?
That's a long story. If you're really interested in my tale, then I will tell you, of course.
A traitor to many causes, or a heroine to all. We should see what she has to say.
As you wish.
Tell me your story. How did you end up joining the clerics?
Right, I'll give you the full version. Well, the short version of the full version.
Just get on with it.
Okay, I'll try to keep it short. So, I grew up in Goliad in Edan. My father and mother were both born berserkers, and so that meant I was too. Back then, Bajar ruled over Goliad. As a child, I had no interest in the laws, of course. But when I was about 12 years old, one of the warlords came to our home. He took my parents, and I was left on my own to survive in the city. I remember him. I remember my parents leaving. And I remember me screaming. But everything else is gone. It's just a blur.
What happened to your parents?
Well, what else? They were exiled. Nobody ever told me why they were exiled. I still don't know what they did, even today. I hate the Berserker laws. Nothing against the Berserkers. They're just people. It's the laws I hate. I think what the Berserkers want to do with Magalan is right. But I can never forgive them for what they did to my parents. Why was I punished for whatever my parents did? Why wasn't I told what had happened? I swore never to return, and I haven't set foot in Edan again.
Where did you go?
Wherever I needed to survive. That meant running from reavers and wild animals. It didn't take long for some reavers to take me captive. And then, I don't want to talk about that. I was lucky, though. After several years, the reavers were attacked by some of the Duke's outlaws, and they took me back to Tavar. I learned how to fight, how to live off scrap. Life wasn't much different from Edan, but there wasn't the same raptor shit. The laws. You could be who you were, and no one judged you.
Then why didn't you remain with the outlaws?
Because the reavers who'd taken me captive came to the fort and wanted to speak to the Duke. I think they wanted to take me back. I fled when they saw me. I didn't want to be taken back, or for them to kill me to hide their crime. When I left the fort, I ran into a cleric patrol. They convinced me to go to the Hort with them. Not that I really needed that much convincing. All those hours taking scrap apart and putting it back together in Tavar really paid off there. The clerics recognized that I was good with technology. So, I've been working on mechs and AI systems since then. Building things. Trusted. Part of a team. And it's easier being with mechs. They don't judge anyone. They treat everyone the same. Like this place. I know it's not perfect. But outlaws, berserkers, clerics, even elves are seen as people. At least that's the vision. Not always the way it happens. That's another reason to maintain these mechs. To protect what we have here. Well, I hope you find your place in the world. It's good when you do.
What are you doing here in Abessa?
I take care of the mechs and drones here in the city, which means I coordinate and plan their maintenance and upgrades. When I'm lucky, I get to roll up my sleeves and do some of the actual maintenance. Which I'm having to do quite a lot, with all the technicians we're missing. Say, are you good with technology?
I know the basics.
Unfortunately, that wouldn't be enough, I'm afraid. We don't really have time to train people on the job. Not if they're not going to stay here for good, and you don't look the type for that. On the other hand, if you're looking for some part-time work, I could still use your help. I have 4 people I've been told I should look at for taking the technician's job, but I don't have time to gauge their abilities. Would that be something you could do for me? I'd pay you.
It's getting worse. First of all, they need to just turn off the boob physics entirely from this game because it's not working, but also the faces are disappearing now. That's a good sign.
Yeah, I'll talk to your candidates.
Great. The 4 names I have are Daryl, Naira, Rorik, and Riley. Though I'm really not sure about Riley. There's something about him I don't trust. But speak to each of them and let me know whether you think they might have the right skills and abilities for the job. Oh, and I'll need you to let me know about their loyalties. You know, can they work with clerics? Do they hate us? We'd be trusting them with the mechs and AI that defend the Dome City. So I don't want to employ anyone who might still be thinking about their faction, not our security.
About the candidates for technician.
Yes?
Tell me about Naira.
Naira is an Elb separatist, so a bit of a long shot for loyalty. But she should have the technical ability we need. She's somewhere in the west of the city with the other separatists, in the slums.
You want to employ a separatist as a technician?
We need someone, and I don't think your faction always says who you are. Elves are usually very good with technology, but you're right. I don't know if we can trust her.
Tell me about Daryl.
Daryl is an outlaw. He's applied to be a technician, but I don't know why. So I want to know his motives and what his technical experience is. I'm hoping you can get that information. If he's skilled and trustworthy, then employing him might show that we do trust outlaws here. But I don't know that much about him. I don't even know where to find him.
What do you know about Rorik?
Rorik is a berserker. I think I last saw him somewhere around Vito's pub. It might seem weird to consider a berserker, but I was one once. And I know Rorik used to work extracting ELEX from machines in Goliath, so he knows about technology. And I think I could teach him everything else that he needs to know. And it would show that we were reaching out to the berserkers who have come to the Dome City. Their magic is very powerful, and they're strong warriors. We will need their help if the Elves attack us from Zakor. But it'll be important to find out if he's prepared to have anything to do with technology before we think of offering him the job.
Every time her face disappears, my eyes just go right back to the boobs because like nothing else is moving, and so it's like the one motion on the screen. It's so distracting because her face disappears, and it's like, well, time to look back at the boobs again. It's locked, but it's not like that locked, if you know what I mean. When she came out and it was like, let me tell you the story of my people, I was like, is she a companion? Did I just meet a companion? I could check. You're so psyched to like tell me about herself that I was like, is this a companion? Where did you show up, by the way? Crony. I'm actually nearby. Should really pay him a visit.